If you'd like to work along with me at home, open the Project Files folder, Lesson 5 folder, and then Automating Formats. And we're on the Themes worksheet, where now we're going to begin a discussion about themes. Themes made their debut in Office 2007, and they're continued here in Office 2010. Every workbook has a theme, whether you know it or not. A theme is a collection of fonts, colors, and effects that can be changed by the user, affecting the overall appearance of a worksheet. Here we have a worksheet with lots of colors and some text. We're going to take a look at how changing the theme of this workbook affects this worksheet. Before we get to that, though, I'd like to point something out about this row of colored cells down here. First off, they correspond to the top row of cells in the theme colors that you see here in the drop-down list for the fill color. They're also the same colors you'll see if you click the down arrow next to the font color. In fact, anytime you see a color palette, it's going to look like this. Well, more or less. It's going to have a whole bunch of theme colors and then one row of standard colors down here. Our question is, what the heck is a theme color? So, what I've done is I've taken all these cells in row 20 and I filled each cell with a color from the top row of our theme colors, just to demonstrate what happens when you change the theme. Having said that, now I'm going to go over to the Page Layout tab, where we have the big old Themes group right here. And we'll click the Themes button, where here we see a list of 50 built-in themes. Now these themes all contain their own sets of colors, fonts, and effects. Right now we're using the Office default theme, but watch what happens to the colors and text on this worksheet when I hover over the next theme. The colors have changed. The fonts haven't changed at all, but hang on, let's go to the next one. Here you can see a change in the font and the change in the colors. Each one of these themes has their own set of colors, fonts, and effects, and you can see a drastic change in the way the workbook appears as you go from theme to theme. We're using Live Preview right now to check them out without committing, but when you find one that you like, you just simply click on it to make it permanent. Now let's take a look at how this affects our theme colors. Watch the colors down here in row 20, and then we'll go back to the Home tab and click the down arrow next to the fill color and look at the top row here. See, it's an exact match to what we have in row 20. So the little tiles in the theme color part of the palettes are only placeholders for color chips. When you change the theme, the color that belongs in that place moves in and pushes the old color out. And then any cell that used that color in any way is going to be changed as soon as the new color comes in. Now what about the standard colors? Well, the standard colors, as I told you in another video, are more or less permanent. They don't change with the theme. So watch this. I'll just take this cell right here, and I'll use a fill color of, let's just say, red. And then I'll just go up and change the theme. As I hover over the themes, all the colors change except that red one. Standard colors are sort of hardwired so that they don't move around or change at all. Let's go back to the Home tab. In that same cell, I'm not limited to these same 10 colors. I could choose more colors and then pick from a color palette. I could either use the little color balls here, or I could dial in a custom color from the custom palette. As it is, I'll just leave those the way they are. I said a few minutes ago that not only do the colors change when you change the theme, but the font changes as well. So let me put the theme back to the default, which is Office, and take a look at the font that's being used here in cell E3. Let's go back to the Home tab and check it out. It's Calibri 11 points. That's the default theme for everything you do in Excel, unless you work with a different theme. So now let's go over and change the theme. Let's go to the Apex theme. Back to the Home tab again, and now we find that that same cell, E3, now uses Book Antiqua 11 points as the font. Let's try a different one. Page Layout, we'll go to Themes, and let's go down to Aspect. Back to the Home tab, and here we can find Aspect uses Verdana 11 points. So the colors and the fonts are all subject to change with the theme change. I have a lot more to tell you about working with themes, including how to create your own custom theme and how to work with effects with themes. But that's going to have to wait until we get into our intermediate lessons. So check back then, and we'll talk about this all in more detail when we get to there. But for now, I think that gives you enough to get going. My advice? Experiment, see what you can do with it, and have some fun.